Hi everybody, Armor Pants here, and I have another video for you on the Tier 3 Collectible, the Kenny Light Tank. Tier 3 Collectible in the Japanese line. Now, it's in the store now. It is a Tier 3, you're probably thinking, do I really need this? And the answer is I would say yes. Firstly, it's only €5, which is great, right? Which is great value for money for a collectible tank. Plus, has 108% credit coefficient, so it can earn credits for you. But secondly, it's great fun. This is a great fun tank, right? Now, if you're a really, really experienced player, then yeah, probably this tank is not for you. But even if you're experienced but not in light tanks, this is a great training tank. And it's Tier 3 is a perfect place to practice light tank skills if you haven't played light tanks before. So spotting, scouting, patrol, circle of death, all of those key skills can be practiced with this tank in Tier 3, right? And at the same time, earn some credits. We'll have a look at the tech spec, and we're going to have a look at that using blitzarm.com, as we always do, and we look at all of the relevant information. But before that, I have an important message, and this is a happy birthday message. And it's a happy birthday message to Henry White, who is one of my younger subscribers, and he's the son of my friend Dennis, who used to be my clan lead. And Henry is also a super little blitzer. I actually featured one of his mastery games. He's only 8 years old, and I think he was mastering tanks when he was back only 5 or 6. So it is his birthday last week, so happy belated birthday to you, Henry. Now, firstly, I want to tell you what this Kenny tank is not. It's not the Kenny Otso, right? The Kenny Otso, by the way, this one here we're looking at is an OP tank that was released at the very start of the game and has never been released since, but is still in the game. If you're thinking, hold on a second, Armored, am I looking at a Tier 3 light tank with DPM of almost 2,000 damage points? Yeah, you are, and that's why it has never been released again. Now, this is the Kenny, which used to be in the Tech Tree in the Japanese line, and now it's a collectible tank, right? Now, in terms of setting it up, I would run calibrated shells, supercharge, and vertical stabilizer. I would also run improved modules, enhanced armor, and enhanced tracks. And then lastly, optics, engine accelerator, and consumable delivery system. There's no provisions down at Tier 3, so you don't have to worry about those. As we said, this used to be a Tech Tree tank, before 5.5, and it was very good. And this collectible tank is good as well, right? It has a 37mm gun, pew 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 pew, but it actually packs a punch, because when we have a look at the pen numbers on this, right, 61mm of pen with your AP rounds, and your Pramo AP gives you 77mm of pen. It's a Tier 3 tank. You're going to do 65 damage points and 60 damage points respectively. That's 130 and 120 burst per magazine. You've got a 0.7 second shell rotation in the mag, and then the magazine takes 6.5 seconds to reload. So it's a DPM monster, this little thing. It's small and agile, but it really does pack a punch. Its muzzle velocity, by the way, on the gun is 1021 meters per second, right? To put that in context of Tier 3, that's the same muzzle velocity as a waffle tractor. I shit you not. So this thing is unbelievable gun handling. 15 degrees of gun depression, and again, you're probably thinking, Armoured, are you serious? Yeah, 15 degrees gun depression, one more than the Cromwell B. 20 in elevation. The gun alignment of this thing is awesome. Does 50 kilometers per hour, 20 in reverse, and it has a good power to weight ratio. So this is a little flying machine. Also, it has no real armor in terms of its thickness, but if you look here at the relative armor numbers, because of the angles on the tank, you do get some really, really interesting relative armor numbers, and you can get some bounces on this thing, and particularly when you're moving at high speed, and if you're jigging and weaving, you get some bounces. Plus, you have to remember, guys, that the shells being fired at you are low muzzle velocity, low caliber rounds. And this, by the way, is a tiny, tiny, tiny target as well. Almost impossible to hit if it's moving at top speed. Plus, down there, you don't have the crew skills, you don't have the provisions, etc. Difficult to hit. It also has great concealment numbers. It's got a 242 meter view range, which is really good in its tier. So overall, it has an amazing light tank toolbox. And even if you're up tiered in this tank, you're not going to struggle. It can hold its own. It's also a historic tank. 100 of these were made, so it's also a tank which actually saw service. So for those of you who are tank historians, it's good to be able to have this tank in your collection. As I said, it's only €5. It's the price of a beer, or a large cappuccino, so why not, right? And honestly, I hadn't played it for a while, saw the offer and I ran it out, and it's great fun. I had great fun in it. And you know, okay, look, if you're a top tier snob, it's not for you, right? But if you are somebody who just likes to play the game for fun, this is great fun, you know. And you know, drop down there. Okay, look, people may call you Seal Club or whatever. If you drop down now and again for a few games, or to practice playing with a light tank if you haven't played, what's the harm in that? Let's have a look at some gameplay. This is a really, really fun game I had in this tank today. I think it's like my 5th or 6th battle in a. It's a mastery game. It's not a win though. It's a draw. I've been up tiered in the game, so you'll see when we come to the end game. I just ran out of time. Also, there's one thing that happened in the game which probably stopped me winning, and I'll discuss that. But for now, let's just talk about the tank itself, right? Another cool thing about going down and playing here these tiers again is you're going to play in Mirage, right? Because when you play the top tiers, this map very rarely comes up, right? Same as Mines. But this probably even less so than Mines, right? Hardly ever play on this map in top tiers. But in the bottom tiers, it's one of the maps you play on most frequently, right? This is a great spotting place in this map. You can go up into the soft cover, bing, bing, bing. You can spot up the enemy. You can see how agile this tank is. But there is one thing I need to draw your attention to with this tank, right? This tank, because it's so small, right? And you saw it there. Things like sandbags, boxes, water slow it down. And you need to be aware that they slow it down considerably. So you'll see here when I hit the water as well, I almost stopped moving. So, and you see I'm actually submerged in water. It's so small, this tank. It's tiny, tiny tank. So just be aware of that, right? So if you're, for example, on Fort Despair and you're going through the middle of the map, there's lots of boxes, discarded medical supplies and stuff like that there. You can very, very easily be slowed down significantly by those boxes and get hit. You know, this game, you know, my tactics in this game are not, there's nothing to write home about here, right? I'm just playing this tank for fun. You can see I'm not really following any sort of plan or anything like that. I'm just all over the place. I do follow a plan later on, but for the moment I'm just all over the place here. Take out the M7 Widow is a very dangerous tank for me. I took a couple of hits earlier on, but I'm trying to conserve my hit points now. You can see though it's 3v3, but it's very quickly going to get down to a 3v1 situation. I'm trying to take out this A20 before his allies come over to help him. You can see here when you're brawling in this tank. Ooh, there's one of those bounces I told you about there, right? Off those angles. You can see here when you're brawling in this tank. You can see how often the A20 misses me, right? Obviously, this doesn't happen when you're up in the top tiers, but then rightly so, because you know up in the top tiers you expect players to be more experienced, to be better players. Sorry, I misspoke there. Actually, it's 2v2 now, but it's going to get into 2v1 situation. And my ally helped me there, but he's gonna buy the farm now in a second, and I'm down on my own, and I'm up against a Matilda, which is a pretty formidable opponent. It's like the bully of tier 4, and also there's the SU-85B as well. So another tier 4 tank. Now this round I take off the Matilda. This is what stops me winning the game, because before I took this round I had a margin of error. I wasn't a one shot for the SU. Now I'm a one shot, so I can't really go in and engage them both at the same time because I have zero margin for error. So what I decided to do is I'm going to try to separate them. So I am going to go out of sight because I know that my view range and my light tank camo means I've disappeared for them, and I'm just going to stop now. What I want to do is I want to see where they're going to go. Now generally you have a very good chance down the lower tiers of the tanks you're playing against in this situation going to cap the base. So I'm waiting to see if that happens. So I'm looking at the mini map and I'm also just waiting to see if they're going to cap the base. If they do, then what I can do is I'm going to go use my superior view range and better camo numbers to go up to the hill on the right hand side near the waterfalls. I try to take out the SU, Once the SU is gone, then I can go in and circle death the Matilda. Unfortunately, now if I didn't take that hit from the Matilda, I probably would have just gone directly into the base now and tried to take them both out by circling a death of them. But as I have no margin of error now, if I go in, the odds are more in favour of me dying than before when I had that small margin of error. And the problem now is that I actually run out of time. I still probably could have won, so you can see here the gun depression action, the superior view range, put 2 rounds into the SU. I'm going to now go back, reset camo, count up to 10.6, reset camo. Then I'm going to go back up and hit them again. I'm going to go up from the alternative side of the hill so they're not expecting it. Using that 15 degrees gun depression, I'm just going to hit the SU again. So here I am, boom, boom, another 2 rounds into him. And 2 more magazines and I take him out. But again, the Matilda plays well. He moves towards me. He forces me off the hill, and that's probably, again, the second thing that costs you win the game, because I'm going to run out of time. So I'm going to try to take out the SU, and I thought he might be still in the base, so going towards the base. And then I see the Matilda, so I was thinking, probably shouldn't have stopped. I should have kept going, because time is against me now. I'm actually going to run out of time. But nonetheless, it was a great game, great fun. And it was really good utilization of this little super little tank, super little light tank, and a great training tank. So those of you who are very experienced in playing mediums or heavies or TDs, but not so much light tanks, but you're thinking about venturing into the light tank world, why not get this? It's only €5. You can learn practice all of the light tank skills you need. By the way, if you are going to do that, then have a look at the light tank guide, which is on channel, and that'll teach you everything you need to know about playing light tanks, what you should be doing. And then this tank here allows you to practice all those skills with impunity, while at the same time earning some credits down at tier 3. And of course, tier 3 is the place where you can practice. It's more forgiving. The players are less experienced, so you can practice more, and without having to lose so many games, right? It gives you a chance to practice. It's very, very forgiving tier to play it. So there you go, mastery game. Almost 1300 of damage with a tier 3 tank is great. A defender badge as well. I haven't got one of those in a long time. And just a really, really fun game. Win, lose or draw, this tank is always really fun to play in, so I could definitely recommend it for that. If you are a very, very skilled light tank player, then maybe this is not for you. Maybe you don't need to get this tank, but it is a collectible tank, and for €5 collectible tank, plus you get some other stuff with it, and all the equipment is unlocked. Why not? So you've got €5. Why not treat yourself and have a little bit of fun in this cool little tank? By the way, to go back onto the Kenyatta, that will never come out for sale again. That's what Wargaming have said. So, but if you, and the other thing I would say about the Kenyatta is if you ever see one of those in the game, be very, very careful, because the guy playing it has been in the game since the start. So he's very experienced, and that tank is lethal. As you saw, almost 2000 DPM. So it has 4-shell magazine with the same cycle time between the shells as this, but the magazine reloads in 2 seconds. Yeah, exactly. Totally OP tank. One of the most OP tanks in per tier in Blitz. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. I would definitely recommend this tank as a trainer tank or just a bit of fun. So cheers, Mush. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. And again, I guess all that remains for me to say is pants off. And Dennis, I didn't use any bad language, so Henry can watch this. Cheers.
That's all, folks.